for tuning in, visiting my channel. Don't do a lot of instructional videos too much, mostly playing videos, but I was kind of working on some stuff recently, and I thought it'd be cool to put up somewhat of an instructional video talking about this kind of concept I've been working on, and it's something that I've been doing in practice, so that I've been teaching in some of the lessons I do, and it's pretty cool. It's a concept I've kind of learned from a drummer named Thomas Lang. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. If not, you should definitely check him out. And in my opinion, he's the most technically skilled drummer on the planet, and it's quite breathtaking, some of the things he can do. And one of the concepts he always preaches a lot in his clinics and his lessons videos is the concept of basically whatever you do with your hands, you should be able to do with your feet. And that's obviously a lot easier said than done. And it's something that is actually true for him. Basically, anything he does with his hands, he can do with his feet. It's quite remarkable. But even if you can't do it at the level he does, it's still something, a concept that is great to practice at any level, because it really just improves your overall musicianship on the kit, and just your overall capabilities of what you can do, and your skill. And it's not always something you can incorporate in a musical setting, like in a band setting or that kind of thing. But even if that's not the case, like I said, it improves your overall skill. At the same time, there's also situations where this concept can come into play in a musical setting, in a band setting. That's something I'll kind of go into both of those things, with some examples of both of those parts of the concept. So I'll talk about first something that I kind of started noodling around with the other day, which is this beat that basically just a very simple beat, kind of incorporating this little riff on the snare, and then mimicking that on the kick. So kind of alternating, playing the beat, alternating doing the riff on the snare, and then doing it on the feet. The second time around, alternating back and forth. It's something that's pretty fun to practice. Not something that I maybe ever use in a band setting, but it just kind of improves your overall chops and what you can do, your skill on the kit. So here's kind of an example of what I'm talking about. You'll be able to see it more clearly, as I play it. So here you go. So you can see that beat I'm playing is just kind of, you can see that kind of roll riff on the snare, and then I do the same thing on the feet and kind of alternate the two, and it's just kind of a really cool thing to practice. It's obviously something, as you can see, I still need to practice more, get it even tighter, but it's something that I feel, like makes me feel good if I can do the same thing that I did on my hands, like a cool roll on my hands, I can do that on the feet. It's just something that I kind of feel is really cool. It's fun to practice, and I feel like it's just kind of building my overall skill and capabilities on the kit. So it's kind of something that I learned from Thomas Lang, and I was just kind of messing around with that in practice, and kind of just started practicing that concept. So it was fun. So the second thing I'd like to talk about is using this concept of mimicking the hands with the feet, and something that you can actually use in a band setting, in a musical setting, particularly with fills. This is kind of something I've been kind of utilizing a while, actually, is basically, you can call it call and response. So basically playing in this case, a set of 3 with the notes with the hands, and then mimicking that, responding with that same exact thing with the feet. So 3 with the hands, 3 with the feet, 3 with the hands, 3 with the feet. And I'll give you an example of how, basically starting off slow, and then how I build up faster and faster, and how it ends up being this really cool kind of fill that you can use, like a thunderous, really full sounding, powerful fill. Where people could say, oh, what is that guy doing? That sounded crazy. When in reality, it's not that crazy, as you can see. You're just alternating 3 with the hands, 3 with the feet, but you can see as you get faster and faster, it really sounds pretty cool. So yeah, here's an example of that. So you can see all I'm doing there is just doing the same thing with the hands and the feet. In this case, a more of a call and response thing, just 3, 3, 3 with the hands, 3 with the feet, faster and faster. It becomes this really cool thunderous fill. And so the second kind of fill I sometimes use, not as much as the 3s, but you can also do this in 4s. So do 4 with the hands, 4 with the feet. I mean, obviously this is a concept that's been talked about for a while. It's a great warm-up exercise too, but you can even incorporate this in a fill, so you're even getting a little more kick drum in there, an extra left stroke with the feet. It's obviously a lot more difficult to, in most cases, for most people to play, to do it on the feet than the hands. So that's kind of a cool part about practicing it, but once you get it, it can make for a really cool fill. So here's an example of that. I'll start off a little slow and kind of speed up, and you can see how it ends up being, another way to pull off a really cool fill. So there you go. So you can see, how when you incorporate the kick drum in a fill, that's another thing I think is really cool about this concept is, I love it when drummers incorporate kick into the fill. It's more than just the hands. It just kind of, it's hard to describe it. It creates it just kind of sounds like at another level, of drumming when drummers are able to do that, when they're able to use, more of their limbs, and you get more sound from the kick because you get that low end too, with the extreme high end in the snare and the mid range in the toms. It's just kind of using the full capability of the kit in the fill. And it's something that, in this case, you can use this concept, the hands and the feet, to do that. There's obviously a million ways to incorporate kick drum and fill that doesn't utilize the concepts of mimicking hands with the feet, but that's a whole other topic. But in this case, it's a concept that, using this concept of the fill, mimicking hands and the feet can be used in a musical setting, band setting. And it's something that I use a lot, especially the 3 and 3s. Not so much the 4 and 4s. That's kind of something that, I don't use quite as much, but I certainly could. And it's really cool to have that in your bag of tricks. So, well, cool. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you maybe at least gathered a little bit of cool info from that. Maybe you can go practice some of those things. I know I'm going to continue practicing it. So, thanks for tuning in, and feel free to subscribe to my channel, spread the word, and there's some other cool videos on the site.